But as you can see, my character is over there, okay? Why does the usage of CFrame prevent this? I hate CFrame so much. How do you think position is stored in a game? I mean, like, this is a legit question. Like, think about this. How do I know where this part is located, right? How can I read its position? And now you might be saying, okay, well, because this is a 3D game, likely some sort of X, Y, and Z value, right? Because, you know, it's a 3D game, meaning 3 dimensions, meaning X, Y, and Z. And you actually would be correct. If I scroll down right now, the size is composed of an X, Y, and Z. Okay, but how do I change the size via script, right? How do I do it? Can I just say, you know, spawn location dot size is equal to 12, 1, 12? Because I mean, I could try that right now, actually. I could say workspace, spawn location, size, like this, but it's not gonna let me. And instead it actually gives me an error saying vector3 expected got number. So what is a vector3? What is a CFrame? What is a color? What is a UDIM? These are all mankind's biggest questions, okay? It's actually what took us out of the Stone Age to modern day, I'm pretty sure. The main point that I want to drill into your head, okay, because this is like insanely important, this is life-changing information, is that numbers, right, in any game engine, by the way, so even if you don't develop in Roblox, or you just don't develop at all, the idea of taking numbers and then transforming them into a certain type of data has been present, honestly, since I think colors existed digitally. I mean, hell, everything runs on binary code, which is just numbers. It's just ones and zeros, right? And so all I want to show you is just how all of your favorite games use these number values to, you know, do something with them. So let's begin with the thing that we actually started off with, you know, where we got the error, which is a vector3. Okay, so I'll just make a script, you know, very simple. Let's say we want to change the size again. So I'll just say workspace.spawnLocation.size. And funny thing actually, when you're typing a property, at least Roblox does this. I'm not sure if like Unity or like Unreal Engine do this, I don't know. All I know is that Roblox Studio tells you what the property is supposed to be, which is a vector3. It actually gives you an example right here, but this is kind of a mid example. So just listen to me instead, okay? I'm better than Roblox documentation. So what it wants is it wants a vector3, okay? I hate code assist. I hate it so much. So as we've seen before, right? The size is just an X, Y, and Z. However, the issue is we can't just give it 3 numbers. It doesn't work like that. Well, maybe we could do it in brackets? That's actually closer, actually. If you thought to do that, that's actually one step closer. What you need to do is you need to say vector3, okay? From there, you get a couple of different options, right? .new simply creates a new vector. And this is where you give it all the numbers, right? This will work. So this vector3 is literally just 3 different numbers, which are meant to represent X, Y, and Z values. And this isn't just for size, by the way. So this is for, you could use this for position, right? You could use this for, yeah, rotation, for like orientation. I don't even know what the difference between the two, I'll be completely honest. And to actually show you, I could just set the size of this to be just 100 everything. There we go, see? It becomes a huge, giant cube. I don't know, bro, that actually made me a little excited. You know what I mean? So again, this is just a Roblox thing, I'm sure. Like, I don't think Unity or whatever has this. But vectors do have different options, right? I won't cover all of them because I'll be honest, I do not know what from normal ID means. However, we have stuff like min, which just basically asks for a bunch of vectors and then it just gives you the smallest one. And then we have max, which does the exact opposite. We have 0, which just basically returns a vector where all the numbers are zeros. Then we have some other nerd stuff, which I'm not going to cover because I'm not a nerd. Instead, what I want to cover is the second type of number data, that being color, okay? And color actually, it messed me up for a bit. It messed with my head. It made me mentally deranged because you look at a color, right? It's 3 numbers as well. So like let's say if I change the color around. As you saw, when I was changing the color, right? The numbers are changing and there's 3 numbers, right? So wouldn't it make sense for me to, you know, say color is equal to vector3.new, and then, I don't know, what if I just set it all to 0, 0, 0, right? Wouldn't this work? I mean, let's see, right? Rendering is paused for debugging. I clicked something, bro. What is this? Delete breakpoint. I do not like breakpoints. Unable to assign property color. Color3 expected got vector3. This is where Roblox becomes incredibly stupid and inconsistent. The whole idea here, even though it uses 3 numbers, uses a color3 value. And how do you make a color3 value? Well, you say color3. Yeah, I know, it's insane. And then similar to vector, it gives you all of these options, right? There's only 4, so there's not a lot, right? But personally, for me, I just always use from RGB, right? We have from hex, which just gets the hex code, which is like, you know how sometimes as a kid you'd go to like look for a color on Google or whatever, like you'd find some color wheel online, and then when you modified the color, you would get like a random string of like letters and numbers, right? That's a hex code. I just use from RGB, and then yeah, from here you could actually change the color. So I could just say green, right? It automatically gives me all the values, and then now if I were to run the game, now it works. We have this terrible looking spawn location. And so like I said before, right, you might be wondering, why couldn't we just use a vector for this? The reason being is that a vector is for X, Y, and Z values. So again, I don't know how Roblox Studio itself is programmed. Like I wasn't there when Roblox Studio was being made, but from the limited evidence that I've gathered, it honestly just seems like it's done for organization purposes. Because to be honest, right, there's nothing that's stopping them from just saying vector3 dot from RGB. This could have been a function. You could have just said vector3 from RGB and it could have worked, right? But you know, I guess it is somewhat efficient to have a color 3 value, right? Even if it's just used for one thing, being the color. And now we're gonna get to the value that has single-handedly made every single Roblox developer cry at one point or another. That being the C-frame. Standing for coordinate frame, which who knows what that means. A C-frame is seemingly normal at first. It's just composed of a position and orientation, right? So a C-frame is effectively just the item's location in the game world, right? Position plus orientation, or rotation, whatever you want to call it. And this seems actually fairly simple. So if I were to make a part, for example, and just set it to be anchored just so it's not affected by gravity, okay? Let's say I want to change the position, and I want to set it to vector3.new 0 10 0. Well, then now the part is going to be positioned 10 studs above the spawn location, because the spawn location is at 0 0 0, right? And so now you might be thinking, okay, that makes sense, right? And I assume rotation is the same thing. So yeah, there we go. So now the rotation has slightly been modified, right? So clearly rotation is fine, you know, using a vector3 for rotation is fine, and using it for position is fine as well. So now you might be wondering, okay, what's the big deal with a C-frame? Right? Seriously, like, I mean, if I change the C-frame right now, and, you know, C-frame, you know, we got a bunch of these things, which I'll cover in a bit. C-frame.new, so it just needs the position, right? So we'll give it the vector3, and then it needs a look at. This is where stuff gets a little bit confusing, okay? You see, the way that a C-frame functions, right, is that you give it the position that you want the part to be looking at. So let me actually show you a cool example, all right? I'm just gonna get my player, okay? So I'll just say local game, the players, wait for child, the original lamp, because that's my username. So we're just gonna wait until, you know, my player has joined the game. And then this line just quickly gets the player's character, just, you know, ensures that we either get the character or we wait until the character is loaded. And then we'll get the character's root by just saying character, wait for child, humanoid root part, just to ensure that, you know, it's loaded in and we're all fine. And so what I could do now is I could just set it to be equal to root dot position. And I could actually take this line right here, and I could just put it into like a while loop. So basically what this is going to do is it's going to wait a task.wait, which is like the smallest amount of time you can wait in Roblox. And then it's just going to update the C-frame to look at my character's position, okay? Character added. I am actually a little stupid, boys. If I move around right now, as you can see, it moves around. You know, it's trying to look at me like so. It's kind of failing, you know. I'm a little quicker, I'm a little faster. So as you can see, it's not mimicking my rotation, right? Because I'm spinning right now, and you'd expect it to spin with me. Instead, it's looking at me, okay? The biggest issue with a C-frame is just how weird and inconsistent they are, right? Like I said, we get a C-frame, you have C-frame angles, okay? What does this do? Who knows? It's equivalent to from Euler angles X, Y, and Z. Thank you, Roblox. What is from Euler angles X, Y, and Z? It returns a rotated C-frame using in radians using rotation order .xyz. What is rotation order? Nothing. It doesn't exist. That's crazy. And my biggest gripe with the C-frame, it aren't even all of these weird things like from orientation, from Euler angles. I don't know, bro. The biggest issue that I have with C-frame is that sometimes it's literally like it determines whether a part actually gets moved or not, right? So you might be wondering, like, what does that mean? I've had moments where when I was trying to teleport a character to a certain place, right? So let's say we have a root, right? And then I say root dot position, right? Like so, root dot position is equal to vector3.new, let's say, I don't know, 50 50, 50. And so then when I play the game, it would teleport me over here, right? But as you can see, my character is over there, okay? You know what's going on? It just teleported my root. It only teleported the humanoid root part. It didn't actually teleport the character with it. But then if I were to make it a C-frame, okay, with, you know, the vector 3, same vector, okay, 50, 50, 50, I'm not going to give it an orientation because if there's no orientation, it's just blank by default. So all I've done is I've just changed it. Instead of changing the position, I'm now changing the C-frame. That's it. And you know what's going to happen? There we go. It spawned me above, as I wanted it to, right? So because I'm now using C-frame, now it spawns my character above. But when I don't use C-frame, when I use position, do you know what happens, bro? You know what happens? You know what happens. You saw what happens. I can move it around as well. I just realized I can move it. This is me moving. Do you hear me clicking the keys? Why does the usage of C-frame prevent this? I hate C-frames so much. But okay, look, enough with C-frames, enough with C-frames. We have one more thing to go through, right? Actually, a couple more, okay? But they'll be quick, I promise. The last unique value that we have is called a UDIM, okay? Now, you might be wondering, what the hell is a UDIM, okay? Let me show you. UDIMs are for user interface, okay? Let's say I have a button. How would I change the shape of the button? Now, you might be thinking that wouldn't, you know, a 2D button use an X and a Y, right? Wouldn't it need something like a vector 2? However, the issue with GUI, or not the issue, I don't know, whatever. It does use X and Y, but the X and Ys are composed of 2 numbers. How funny is that? An X has a scale and offset, and the Y has a scale and offset. In short, all you have to know is that offset uses pixels, while scale uses screen percentage. But this size, okay, is basically a UDIM too, as is the position. The position is also an X scale and offset, Y scale and offset. For example, let me show you. A UDIM 2, right? Dot new, X scale, X offset, Y scale, Y offset, right? It's basically the same thing as a vector, except it just needs 4 numbers, okay? And then you also have a singular UDIM, right? Which is just 2 numbers, scale, and offset. Okay, so that's just for changing one of these properties. So yeah, next time you play a Roblox game or any game at all, I just hope this stuff gets burnt into your head, okay? Because this stuff gets used everywhere, right? For example, if I wanted to add an attribute just somewhere, right? And I wanted to select the type of it, we have UDIMs, right? We have color, brick color, which I hate so much. This shouldn't exist, okay? We have color, vectors, we have our C-frames, number sequence, color sequence. What is this? Who knows? That's for another video. If you aren't a developer, I have no idea what you've been watching for this far, but you know, clearly you found something of value, so do subscribe. I am aiming for 100K subscribers within 2 months, okay? Big goal, but you know, I trust myself, I can accomplish it. And if you are a beginner developer wanting to learn more, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, use the code FreakyBlocks to get 50% off my course, which can be found in the description. And yeah, that was fun, you know, me ranting for numbers for, I don't even know how long this video is gonna be. This part is here. Nope, no it's not. There we go. I lied to you, you know, I'm a liar, just like that. And we are back to basics. Oh, what did I click on? We are not back to basics. There we go. Now we're back to basics. Thank you for watching.